proud Christian Zionist here. So, and Canadian. So, Canada, we need to have a chat. You've been believing lies about Israel. And I seen a video this morning of a man go after a Liberal MP, screaming at her in her face with a camera, chasing her to her car, and screaming at her about Israel's genocide and how Canada supports it. This man's a threat. His Israel derangement syndrome has gotten out of control. And people need to wake up and start putting two and two together. Because if Israel wanted to commit a damn genocide, they're one of the most powerful armies in the entire Middle East. They fight off 7 countries at once. You think one little tiny strip of land and is what? Still standing because they're committing a damn genocide? October 8th, Israel could have chose, after picking up the pieces of their loved ones from the attack that Palestinians did on them on October 7th, 2023. Israel could have gone out and said, enough's enough. We're going to wipe out all of Gaza. And if you ask me, the world would have maybe been a better place had they done it. Because for the last 100 years, because people like to say this started in 1948 when Israel declared independence. It didn't. Go and look up the 1936 Hebron massacre. Go and look up the British army that stood by while Arabs attacked the Jews and killed entire towns before Israel declared independence. And you might call me a Zionist, but it's a simple Google search that you can do. Get off your lazy ass and do a simple frickin' Google search. Israel actually is a bought and paid for country. Did you know that? The only place that they essentially took back in 1967 was Judean Samaria. Because, again, they were attacked and they won. So they legally took Judean Samaria back from Jordan. And it was Jordan that screwed the Palestinian people by not allowing them in. Because the Palestinian people have this crazy habit of going into countries and murdering people. They did it in Lebanon. They did it in Syria. Why do you think none of those countries will take Palestinians? Because the Palestinians outlived their welcome in those countries. But because those countries are Arab and Islamic, they can get away. They can get away with saying, oh, we're not taking them in. But Israel is the one that gets blamed. You know, Egypt also went through their own Palestinian massacres. And after October 7th, Egypt said, not a chance in hell are you coming into Egypt, because everywhere you go, you bring death and destruction. So they've been building border walls between Egypt and Gaza. Border walls. There's like a 5-layer border wall between Egypt and Gaza that went up mostly after October 7th. But the Palestinians are innocent, right? When their own countries that they're from, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, that's where Palestinians' ancestries are from. So when their own countries won't take them back, does that not spark you? Does it not like trigger your little Canadian brains to think, well, maybe these people aren't so good? Nope. Because you're a bunch of useful idiots. And your Jew hate is astounding. So much so that you would attack Christians and you would attack children and scream in their face that they deserve to die. All because you believe a lie that Israel is committing a genocide. You know, we should be thanking them because they're actually taking out terrorists. You know, they're actually... So, October 7th, when Hamas when they videotaped their atrocities and sent the videos to the family members of the people that they slaughtered, and they posted it all over social media. So Israel over the last 3 years has been building a list from the videos that Hamas took. And on that list are all the men, the Palestinian men, who committed atrocities, raped families, killed children, killed Holocaust survivors, burned entire families alive in their homes. And Israel's been building a list, and there's thousands of Palestinian names on it. And slowly but surely, Israel has been hunting down these Palestinian men, and they've been taking them out. And it's actually quite enjoyable to watch. Not that I revel in killing, but when I see the man that is recognized from a video that I took the time to watch and learn the truth and see what he did, and then I hear that Israel found him and he's no more, it makes my heart happy. And for everybody that's whining and bitching about this settler crap, Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank, is split up into 3 areas, A, B, and C. And you can thank the stupid Oslo Accords for that. Because if it hadn't been for the Oslo Accords, none of this situation would be happening right now. So Judea and Samaria was split up into 3 areas, A, B, and C. A is under Palestinian Authority control completely. B is Palestinian Authority and the IDF is a security measure. And Area C is completely under Israel, under the IDF. And people like to say that this land is occupied, that Israel is occupying this land. When in 1967 they rightfully took it from Jordan after they were attacked. So, land conquered after being attacked is their land. And it was their land to begin with. Because back in the early 1900s, the land that Israel and Jordan sit on now were what the British had given to the Zionist party, or the Jews who were trying to secure a safe place for Jews fleeing from all over the world. And Palestinians like to say this is the whole Nakba thing, but what they seem to forget is that as the same time as these Arab countries were attacking Israel in 1948, like an hour after they declared independence, there were over 1 million Jews from all over the Middle East being kicked out of their own countries. So Iran kicked their Jews out. Iraq kicked their Jews out. Yemen kicked their Jews out. People like to use this line, 109 countries. But what the truth of the matter is that those 109 countries, or whatever you want to say, the Jews were kicked out from their homes, from their land, from everything. And killed. If they didn't get into a safe country, when during the 1930s no countries would take them in, USA included, Canada included, the British are the cause of the entire conflict in the Middle East because of what they did after the Ottoman Empire. They partitioned all of these lands, where these lands were tribes of people that they policed themselves, or centuries-old tribes of people. The British came in and said, no, you're going to go there, we're going to draw a border here, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they pit all these people against each other. And when the Jews returned home to Israel, which is the modern state of Israel, it was the greatest decolonization project in the history of mankind. The Jews returning back to their ancestral homeland. An ancestral homeland that the Arabs during the Ottoman Empire could give a crap about. Arabs didn't start caring about the land until the Jews started to make it known that they were ready to come home after thousands of years of exile from their land, and God was giving them the opportunity to return back to the land He gave them in Genesis, or in the Old Testament. The only way to solve this issue is to deport or offer the Palestinian people resettlement fees, resettlement costs, all of that stuff. Because the longer the world continues to push this garbage about free Palestine when Palestine never existed. The Ottoman Empire, Islam, the Muslims didn't recognize Palestine as a state or a country. The British, the Babylonians, Byzantines, none of them set up a Palestinian country because the people are not indigenous to the damn land. They went there for work and money. There was not even 1 million Arabs in the entire area in 1948. The only reason they bitched was because the Jews were coming home. And they know the story of what happens when the Jews come home. And that's why the push for free Palestine is so big, is because it's never been about land. It's about keeping the Jews out of the land, because you keep them out of the land and you deny God his promises, right? That's all it's about. Trying to deny that God exists. Well, the world is waking up, and people like me, I don't get a dime from speaking up about this. I mean, 7,000 shekels, sure, that would be great, but there's not an amount of money in the entire world that would keep me silent from standing up for what I believe in. Open your eyes.